Welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Okay, resuming, sorry. Anyways, today I'll be streaming 3 games. Rockman New Menace, the demo, and 2 other games. Hopefully Crano Reanimated and Ruined Valley. The first one I have a lot of things to say about. Most of them, well, you'll see. Buster especially. Let me just put it out there. The following title's a bit janky. I don't know how it's janky, but it's... Well, I'll have to show you to explain it. For a Megamix game, it's kind of strange how it doesn't... It feels kind of off-branded. Here we go. Let's get this game started. Everything from even the way the project is packaged, it feels off-branded. Like, remember how 48 Hours distributed, you can just unzip the file and run it? For some odd reason, in order to get Rockman New Menace demo working, you have to install it. And then it gives you the project folder, and then you can run the game. However, the project itself is completely... you can just zip it up and it works directly. There's no need for installation, so that's even more oddities. I mean, for a fan game, why go with an installer? It's not like it's several hundred megabytes. Okay, let's try getting the footage on screen. Hopefully it itself doesn't blow up. Huh? What? Oh yeah, I see the problem. Hang on. Mixer. There we go. Ignore that, please. Should have been zip or standalone. I don't understand why they decided to default to installer. Yeah, unlike Chang, but we'll get to that. Let's focus on this one instead of other things. Who is the creator of this again? Name? Blair Hands, okay. Sure thing, Jaden. We'll go over it more in the next one. Grading! Oh, wait. Mega Man RX? Okay, thank you. Greetings, everyone. My name is Etterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the alpha demo of Rockman New Menace, a Mega Man Classic fan game. Really? Greetings, everyone. My name is Etterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the alpha demo of Rockman New Menace, a Mega Man Classic fan game. Greetings, everyone. My name is Etterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the alpha demo of Rockman New Menace, a Mega Man Classic fan game in development by Mega Man RX. I'll be spending up to half an hour in this demo, giving my first impressions along the way. So here's a choice of two RMs, Blazeman and Darstman. I flipped a coin earlier, and Darstman won. I don't know what Darst stands for. Introducing a count bomb over a bottomless pit. Not a good start. Whoa, explosive blocky variants. Yoku spikes? Once again, introduced over a bottomless pit. A variant of Gemini Man? A variant of Flash Man? Not sure what this was all about. I guess I jumped down here. Almost into a bottomless pit. I'll call these enemies Dart Joes. Oh man. Enemies who fire globs of slippery goo. And a variant of the Tomahawk platforms. Isn't this the boss from Platman stage? I suppose they misspelled darts as Darst. I suppose they misspelled darts as Darst. Let's see, I started with the Rush Coil and 2 lives. Whoa! Explosive tellies as well. Most of the enemies and gimmicks in this... Most of the elements in this stage are explosive in nature. Most of the elements in this stage are explosive in nature. So I'm guessing he's the... So I'm guessing Darstman is the explosive teamed RM. And you're right, Buster, that was not a pit. Even though it kind of looked like one. Still don't get the point of that mini-boss battle. Not darts, Darst. Ow. Extra life. 8 damage? Seriously? It shouldn't be that high. It should be 6. Thankfully, I'm only sent back about 6 screens or so. Thankfully, I'm only sent back 6 or 7 screens or so. And you're right, Manubi. The entire bottom part of the screen looks like a... And you're right, Manubi. The entire bottom part of the screen looks like a bottomless pit. When that pit from earlier... not again. And that pit from earlier we jumped into, that looks exactly the same as the pits now. And that was mandatory for progression. Already we have some issues with element introductions and conveyance. This mini-boss again, but this time it's easier. This mini-boss again, but this time it's easier. Why, you may ask? No cohorts to worry about. Another leap of fate. I'm happy to give me these life refills. I just wish the level design was better. Outside the backgrounds and the dart joes, I don't get how the stage is based off of darts. Yeah, there's no way getting past the blockies like this. They deal way too much damage. Thankfully there's a checkpoint over here. And I get knocked into the pit, of course. Wonderful. I have no more lives, so I have to make this count. By default, the blockies should not deal 8 damage, especially explosive variants. If anything, they should deal... If anything, they should deal 6 damage. If anything... E-Tank, I want that. If anything, they should deal 6 damage. I complained about this exact same thing during 48 hours. Whoa. I don't like several of these screen transitions either. They place me precariously on the edge. Some of them place me precariously near the edge. I suppose we made it to the boss. I don't mind placing secrets down in pits, as long as the pit looks different. Huh? Ow. That's it. E-Tank time. The hitbox for this attack is really off. The hitbox for this attack is bigger than what it looks. The hitbox for this attack is larger than what it looks. Otherwise, the boss itself isn't too bad. Kinda janky, but he has a very recognizable pattern. In fact, I say the boss fight is the best part of the stage. The rest of it felt rather rushed. Anyways, off to Blaze Man. Oh good, it resets my lives back to 2. I was worried I had to do a forced game over to reset him. Oh man, that Metar over there is having a fun time sniping me. That Metar down there is having a grand old time sniping me. Fireman? Once again, I don't get the point of these boss battles. It's not like you get anything out of defeating them. Also, do you notice the teleporter back? It wasn't set correctly. Also, did you notice the teleport back? It wasn't set correctly, so I got pushed up a block. Moreover, these enemies were not introduced correctly. They should have been introduced in isolation. Same with all of the other enemies in this stage, to be fair. So that's not solid, and it almost dropped me into a bottomless pit. Maybe. I'm not sure if it was a bottomless pit or not. Let's try this out. So embed on the enemy. Boom. I'm going to assume that these force beams are instant death. Let's try this again. It even pierces through shields. At the very least, I'm glad to see that the special weapon is useful. It does consume a lot of ammo, so keep that in mind. See, this is a good way of introducing this enemy. It places them right in the open with an easy way to dispatch them, but gives them enough time to actually use one of their moves. This should have been the first screen using them. What happened to collision down here? And why is the tile on the bottom left different? I don't trust you, Eddie. Never mind, you're safe. I do like the different graphic on the life refills. One of the few things I like about this demo. To be able to do it... Okay. So like from X5. Well, again, this should have been introduced over a safer environment. Not over a bottomless pit, not over a bottomless pit next to firewave generators. Not over a bottomless pit right next to firewave generators. Other than the tree bloodbaths, this second encounter of the Hellhound wasn't too difficult. Oh, I wanted that. Darn. Thank you. I have noticed something. As Buster pointed out, all the sections have been one screen in length. I have noticed something. As Buster pointed out, all the screens have been one screen in length. There haven't been any multi-screen... There haven't been any multi-screen sections. Only harsh transitions. Let's fight Blazeman now. Okay? Oh no. Now I'll take it. The bosses are the... Ironically, the bosses are the only... Ironically, the bosses are the best part... To be quite frank, the bosses are the best part of this demo. One of the few parts which I consider to be decently designed. One of the few parts that I consider to be decently designed. One of the few sections which I consider to be decently designed. We got the Blaze Wave. Compared with Darstman, this stage was a bit more tricky. This stage was a bit trickier, but not by much, and mostly due to bad design and bad introductions. It didn't have as bad conveyance as Darst, but gosh, it didn't have as bad conveyance as Darst. Yet Blaze was still rather problematic. All of the stages featured here suffer from the same problems: bad introduction of elements, and not so good conveyance. Bad introduction of elements, not so good conveyance, and all sections are only one screen in length, resulting in harsh transitions everywhere. That's why there were several sections where following a transition, you're placed precariously near a cliff. You're placed precariously at a cliff. You're placed precariously at a cliff. You're placed precariously on a cliff. You're placed precariously on a cliff. You're placed precariously on a cliff. Now, you can make a game... Now, you can design a game... Now, you can design a... Now, you can design a game... Now, you can design a stage around... Now, you can design a stage where every section is one screen long. See Menace for that. But this is not how you do it. Now, you can design a stage where every section is one screen in length, is one screen long. See Menace for that. See Menace for that. But this is not how you do it. What I would suggest doing is fix the enemy introduction. What I would first suggest doing is fix the enemy introductions. What I would first suggest doing is fix the enemy introductions. Whenever introducing an enemy in a Mega Man Classic game, they should be introduced in a controlled environment, aka by themselves, aka by themselves, aka by themselves, not right next to another, not right next to another enemy or hazard, not right next to another enemy or hazard. After that issues, enemy, and strangely enough, you actually got it, And strangely enough, if you reorder some of the stages, and strangely enough, if you reorder some of the screens, you could easily, and strangely enough, if you reorder some of the screens, you could easily accomplish it. You could easily accomplish this. For instance, with the Rolling Rock enemy. For instance, with the Rolling Rock enemy in for instance, with the Rolling Rock enemy from Blaze Man's stage. After this is settled, after this is resolved, I highly advise you add in some sections that are multiple screens long. After this is settled, I strongly advise adding I strongly advise adding in several sections which are more than one screen in length. I know I just said you can make a game around I know I just said you can make a game around where every I know I just said you can make a game where every section is one screen long, but it rather limits the design. But doing so limits the design. And after this is settled, then we can move on to fixing the difficulty escalation. And once these two are settled, we can move. And once these two are settled, we can move on to fixing the difficulty escalation. And once these are resolved, we can move on to fixing the difficulty escalation and the stage ending and the ending climaxes. As it stands right now, this is a very rough demo. I wanted to like it more, but outside the boss, I wanted to enjoy it more, yet outside the boss battles, this felt like a bootleg Megamix game. This felt like a bootleg Megamix fan game. This felt like a bootleg Megamix fan game. And then there are all the issues surrounding the game. Which don't even. And then there are the issues surrounding the game's packaging. Nonetheless, I wish the best of luck to the developers. I mean, let me put it this way, Buster. Did you feel, especially with Darst, Blaze is fine, Darst has some jankiness, but compared to the rest of the game, I say the bosses are on the good side of janky, actually fun to play and defeat, versus everything else. To put it another way, this felt kind of like an odd chore to play. To put it another way, this felt odd to play through. This demo felt odd to play through, and not in a good way. Even bosses suffer from jankiness. Despite how much I enjoy the bosses, they also feel kind of janky, especially Darstman. But compared with the rest of the game, they are far more enjoyable. Nonetheless, I wish the best of luck to the developer. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Maybe. Time Adventure had its own wackiness. The strange... And yeah, shop is the same as before. Now the other stages are different, by the way. That's it. What I'm saying is, this game is bleh. Very janky, very rough, bleh bleh. Alright. Short pause, and now moving on to stuff that's actually interesting and less janky. Okay then, let's set this thing up. Hey there, Silent. At least, good thing you missed the worst part. The fun. It's kind of funny in the way it's. See, Time Adventure was kind of funny and the other side of janky. This Time Adventure's jankiness was on the funnier side. This one is on the chore side. That's my issue. That's odd. Why is it not refreshing? Okay, now it's working. Actually, that's a good point. Do you prefer the text with the backdrop like this? Just want to do a quick show of hands for yours. This is the way I'm currently doing it. As you can see, it pops up with the backdrop here, and then disappears after 6 seconds. Would you prefer this method, or would you prefer this method, where it shows up directly on screen, no backdrop? Here it is again without the backdrop. With this second method, it doesn't really overlay the game too much, whereas with the other one, it kind of becomes a nuisance if there's... Game is ready, just want to hear your opinion on that. Essentially, if you have the backdrop, it becomes kind of easier to read, but it obscures more of the game. So Jedok prefers first, Minubi prefers second, Jaden, Silent, Sylveon, which one do you prefer? Pixel Boy prefers without the backdrop. And let me show you how to look if I start the game here. I mean, if I do it without the backdrop, I can actually increase the text size a bit. Also, I should really bold the text. This is not, there's one issue if you don't have the backdrop. Stuff like this. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to not have the backdrop, because if there's text like just like this with a white, if there's white text in the game like this, or there's high contrast, it becomes really difficult to read. Yeah, backdrop for this one. I'm also going to increase the boldness of the text so you can more easily see it even here. Let me just replace the 1.5s with the 2s and the 0.75s with the 1s. Yeah, it should be better. Now the entire text has a noticeable bolding. Now, if I can pronounce the name correctly. Okay. Pavel Shibaev. Pavel Shibaev. Okay. Greetings, everyone. My name is Etterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the alpha demo of Ruin Valley, a 2D Metroidvania in development by Pavel Shibaev. I'll be spending up to half an hour. And welcome to my Let's Try of the alpha demo of Ruin Valley, a 2D Metroidvania in development by Pavel Shibaev. I'll be spending up to half an hour in this demo, giving my first impressions along the way. that way is literally a dead end. Nothing here. So I can jump, double jump, dash, and wall kick. I can wall dash as well. Money. 25 gold coins. Of course it'd be fire. This is obviously the checkpoint. Combat this way. More dead bodies. More skeletons. Dagger unlocked. And now these skeletons have become reanimated. And now these skeletons have reanimated. And now these skeletons have reanimated themselves. Just making sure nothing spawned in from behind. Just making sure nothing spawned in from behind. See, this is how you introduce new elements. First in isolation, then combined with other things. Chain to get her movement abilities. As long as they don't expand the double. As long as they don't expand the second jump. As long as they don't expand the second jump, I can use it anywhere. Bow unlocked. It's actually stronger than my dagger. Come back to me, bat. Never mind. This works too. So for every enemy killed, it refills one bow. So for every enemy killed, it refills one arrow. Ow. I sort of screwed this up. It takes 3 dagger strikes to kill the bats, but only 2 arrows. It takes 3 dagger strikes to kill. It takes 3 dagger strikes to kill the bats. It takes 3 dagger strikes to kill the bats. It takes either 3 dagger strikes or 2 arrows to kill the bats. For a moment there, I thought these were explosive. Yeah, everything looks amazing. Everything looks amazing. Everything looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty good. Everything about this game looks pretty good. From the graphics to the music to the gameplay. From the graphics to the music to the gameplay. From the graphics to the music to the gameplay. Secrets. Yep. Truly becoming a... Yep. Truly a Metroidvania. So I can attack in 4 different directions. Left, right, up, and down. Adding on to my earlier statement, the dagger strikes deal 1 damage, the arrows deal 1.5. The dagger strikes deal 1 damage, and the arrows 1.5. And the arrows 1.5. And the arrows 1.5. And the arrows 1.5. I agree that the bricks could look better. I agree that the bricks could look better. I agree that the bricks could look a bit better. I agree that the bricks could look a bit better. It's gradually becoming darker. This place is gradually becoming darker. Can I pogo off of enemies? Let's try that. Yes, I can. Not to the extent of Shovel Knight. Not to the extent of Shovel Knight. But at least I bounce off of them. But at least I bounce off them slightly. But at least I bounce off them slightly. Look at all the money I've acquired. Look at all the money I've acquired. Look at all the money I've acquired. You're right, Jaden. Thank goodness this game doesn't have contact damage. You're right. Thank goodness this game doesn't have contact damage. What did this just do? Was it down here? This seems like the path forwards. I think the slimes have... I think the slimes have conic damage, but for them it makes sense. I think the slimes have conic damage, but for them it makes sense. Their bodies are acidic. Their bodies are acidic after all. Their bodies are acidic after all. Now let's double check what's down here. Beautiful. Remember to spot for later. Remember to spot for later. See? Conic damage. Ow. Ow. Thank goodness spikes are not instant death. These axes, however, these are painful. I like the little things about this game too, with the environmental interactions. Whenever I hit these chains, they actually move around. Whenever I move past these chains, they actually sway around. Whenever I move past these chains, whenever I hit these chains, they actually move around. Most Pixar games wouldn't go to this level of environmental deet. Most games would not have this level of environmental interaction. Most indie 2D pixel games wouldn't have this level of interaction. Most 2D indie pixel art games wouldn't have this level of Most indie 2D pixel art games wouldn't have this level of would not have this level of environmental interactions. Would not have this level of environmental interactions. Would not have this level of would not have this level of environmental interactions. I don't actually need to kill enemies to regain arrows. I simply need to strike them enough. Aw, this marks the end of the demo. Aw, this marks the end of the... Aw, this marks the end of the demo. I was hoping it would end with a boss fight. I was hoping it would end with a boss fight. I was hoping it would end with a boss fight. I gotta say, this was a very solid demo. I gotta say, this was a very solid demo. From the graphics to the music to the gameplay, it was all pretty well done. I have no complaints. I don't have any major complaints. I don't have any major complaints. The only two ones are that It ended without a boss. It ended without a boss fight. It ended without a boss fight. And it ended without a boss fight. And it didn't really showcase Metroidvania design. And it didn't really showcase Metroidvania design. As it stands right now, it feel as it stands right now, it feels more like a 2D action platformer. It feels more like a 2D action platformer. It feels more like a 2D action platformer with some secrets sprinkled in. It feels more like a 2D action platformer. It feels right now, it feels more like a tightly designed 2D action platformer. 2D action platformer. 2D action platformer with with some secrets with some secrets with some optional secrets sprinkled in with some optional secrets sprinkled in with some optional secrets with some optional secrets sprinkled in with with some optional sec with some optional secrets sprinkled in. Regardless, with some optional secrets sprinkled in. I esp- I especially like the combat loop. I especially I especially like I especially like how smooth the movement and combat feels. I especially like how I especially like how fluid the movement and I especially like how the combat I especially like how the movement and combat I especially like how the movement and combat feel. I especially like how fluid I especially like how fluid I especially like how fluid the combat and movement feels. I especially like I especially like how fluid the movement and combat feels. Everything flows together everything flows together pretty well. Everything flows together everything flows together pretty well. Everything flows together pretty well. In any case, I wish the best of luck to the developers. In any case, I wish the best of luck to the developers to the de- In any case, I wish the best of luck to the developers of this title. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Alright, next one now. I pointed out why it's not a Metroidvania because on the game's description it calls itself a Metroidvania, not a 2D action platformer. Like, if it called itself a 2D action platformer like the next game does, I wouldn't critique it. Just All did have a demo from 1 or 2 years ago. That's what I was talking about with something actually being fun, so I'll be right back in a moment. And I'm back. This isn't actually standby music, by the way. Let me just copy these over in case something decides to go kerblooey. Oh yeah, this isn't actually standby music. This is the next game I'm going to be let's trying. If you play mobile games, you may recognize this team. Like... Okay, let's see if it captures properly. Hey Shade. It's another one of those games with, well, you'll see. Oh good, it's capturing. Oh, don't worry, this will be the opposite of garbage. It's gonna be kind of a short demo, but, well, you'll see. Angel Dorantes, okay. One, two, and a tree. Well, I'll only be able to see the chat during pause sessions, but we'll try our best. Let's go. $19, $20. Greetings, everyone. My name is Etterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the demo of Crano Reanimated, a 2D action platformer in development by Angel Dorantes. I'll be spending up to half an hour in this demo, giving my first impressions along the way. Stage 1, the town. Stage 1, the town. Dash with R trigger. Break stone blocks with attack. Stage. Well, it is a very early demo. Stage 1, the town. Dash with right trigger. Look, Jedok, this game has pogoing. This game has pogoing off of it. This game has pogoing. In its title, we play as a reanimated skeleton. Here we go. In this game, we play as a reanimated skeleton. We play as a reanimated skeleton. Collectibles. This is basically the cross from Castlevania, isn't it? This is basically the cross from Castlevania. This is basically the cross from Castlevania. I see. We even have a purple uppercut. We even have a purple uppercut. We even have a purple uppercut. Can I attack enemies with it? Yes, I can. Look, the X platforms. Left trigger to heal. Not that I need it. Ow. I see. Merman. You know what this mostly reminds me of? Castlevania and Primal Light. If they were more cartoony. You know what this mostly reminds me of? Castlevania and Primal Light. If they were more Castlevania and Primal Light. If they were more cartoony. Castlevania and Primal Light. Castlevania and Primal Light. If they were more cartoony. Castlevania and Primal Light. If they were more if they were more cartoony and their sprites more expressive. If they were more cartoony. If they were more cartoony, and their sprite art more if they were more cartoony, if their artwork was more cartoony and expressive, wait. Ow. If their sprite art was more cartoony and expressive. If their sprite art was more cartoony and expressive. If their sprite art was more cartoony and expressive. If their sprite art was more cartoony... Fleaman. If their sprite art was more cartoony and expressive. If their sprite art was more cartoony and expressive. If their sprite art was more cartoony and expressive. This also kind of reminds me of Shovel Knight. This also kind of reminds me of Shovel Knight. This also kind of reminds me of Shovel Knight. Bounce off of saws. Well, at least it's not instant death down there. That's not how you're supposed to do it, but it worked for me. And that's all for the collectibles. It increases my max health by 1. Collecting all 4 fragments increases my max health by 1. Definitely worth it. This uppercut seems fairly strong as well. Ghostly Medusa heads. Alright, scratch my earlier statement. This is remind me a lot of Castlevania. Oh, alright, scratch my earlier statement. This is reminding me a lot of Castlevania now. This is reminding me a lot of Castlevania now. This is reminding me a lot of Castlevania now. We even have the chicken dinners. There's even the chicken dinner. You tricked me with the treasure chest. We even have substitutes for the chicken dinners. It's boss time. Compared with the last game, I have more to say about this title. Of course, it couldn't be that easy. Just a brief respite. Just a brief respite. Just a brief period of respite. Oh, I missed one secret? I wonder where it could be. In any case, this marks the... In any case, this marks the end of the demo of Crano Reanimated. In any case, this marks the end of the demo of Crano Reanimated. A pretty awesome 2D action platformer. A pretty awesome 2D action platformer. A pretty awesome 2D action platformer, all things considered. A pretty awesome 2D action platformer, all things considered. A pretty awesome 2D action platformer, all things considered. The graphics harken back to the late 30-bit. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit era. The graphics harken back to the 30. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit. The graphics harken back to the 30. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit. To the 32-bit era. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit era, in a good way. All the enemies and elements. The graphics harken back to the 32-bit era, in a good way. All the enemies and environments are colorful and expressive. All the enemies and environments are colorful and expressive. All the enemies and environments are colorful and expressive. All the enemies and environments are colorful and expressive. All the enemies and environments are colorful and expressive. All the enemies and environments are colorful and expressive. The music. It's like a more cheerful take on a gothic horror. It's like a more cheerful take. It's like a more cheerful take on a gothic horror setting. It's like a more cheerful take on a gothic horror setting. It's like a more cheerful take on a gothic horror setting. The music fit the action. The music was wonderful and fit the action. The gameplay was fairly solid as well. The gameplay was fairly solid as well. Crano here has access to many different moves. Crano here has access to several 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 different moves. Crano here has access. Crano here has access. Crano here has access to several different moves. Crano here has access to several different moves. And all of them are used, and as showcased during this stage, they all have their uses, not only for combat, but for platforming. Not only for combat, but also for platforming. It's not combat. It's not as smooth as Ruin Valley. It's not as smooth as Ruin Valley, but still fairly fluid, but still fairly smooth. I like how the game gives you the. I like how the game set up its healing system. I like how the game set up its healing system. By slaying enemies and destroying candles, you gain green. By slaying monsters, by slaying enemies and destroying candles, you obtain these green orbs. You obtain green orbs. You obtain these green orbs, which fill up those trees. You obtain green orbs. You obtain green orbs, which fill up those orbs next to the money counter. In order to heal up one health, you have to expend one of these orbs. You have to stand still. You have to stand still for a few seconds and expend one of these orbs. So there is some risk versus reward. So this places some risk versus reward into healing. So this places some risk versus reward into healing. It's not simply a free action. 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 As I alluded earlier, level design was fairly solid. Everything was fairly introduced and elaborated on. I can't wait to play the rest of the 8 stages that'll be present in the final game. I can't wait to play the 8 other stages which will be present in the final game. Good job, devs. I wish the best of luck to you. Good job, devs. This remake is looking awesome. This remake of the 2018 original is looking awesome. This remake of the 2018 original is looking awesome. This remake of the 2018 original is looking awesome. Yep, it's a remake actually. of the original Crano. I mean, this was originally a mobile game, interesting enough. I don't know about that. Yeah, Crano Reanimated, the remake of the original Crano for the iOS. This remake of the 2018 iOS original is looking awesome. This re this remake of the this remake of the 2018 iOS original is looking awesome. Good job, devs. I wish the best of luck to you. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Well then, thanks for watching. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. There are many other things I can comment about There are many other things I can comment about, but I'll leave it at that. There are many other things I can comment about. There are many other things I can comment about, but I'll leave it at this. But I'll leave it at that. I had fun from start to finish. I had fun from start to finish. Let's see. Okay, let me take a short water break and we'll do it. I'll be picking a shorter title. There's also another Metroidvania we should want to cover, but how much time do we have? 30 minutes. I'll save that for later. Give me one moment, I'll see what I can do. Found one. Let's download it. Quick question, Jaden. What genre does Rampage fall under? Would you consider Rampage to be an arcadey kaiju game? I repeat, would you consider Rampage to be an arcadey kaiju game? Arcade kaiju, got it. It's a reverse sandbox game. Oh, it works. Now I just need to see how to pronounce the developer's name, and we can begin. Oh, interesting. Oh, good thing you weren't here. The music just blasted. This is why I always start the games muted. Okay. Now let's actually get this capture correctly because it didn't do it properly. Also, why is the text huh. One sec, I need to check something. This doesn't seem right. I wanted... Oh. The apply button's different from the... Okay, first things first, it's not actually properly scaling. Okay, another game like this. Fine, we'll do it this way. Or not. Oh. The issue with this one is the fact it's actually cropping the size, when in reality it shouldn't. This is related to that. I just want to fix this so we can actually see what's going on. Okay, now it looks correct. Maybe? So this is the actual resolution it wants me to play at. Fine. Well, okay, we got the resolution wonkiness settled. Let's begin this for real. Latin language doesn't warrant a warning. If it was, then the chat itself would... Never mind. I mean, the stream is PG-13, so... If something's PG-13, it doesn't warrant a warning. It's only if something goes above it or has something extraneous. I'm starting the game. 1, 2... Three. Greetings, everyone. Actually, I should retime this a bit. Also, I don't actually want the Steam browser to show up too, so let me fix that. Blasphemous is M-rated. I'm gonna say straight up that will need a content warning. For real this time. Are you kidding me? I disabled that. Why is it still on? Okay. Let's see if Steam cooperates this time. It did. Greetings, everyone. My name is Atterville, and welcome to my Let's Try of the demo of Terror of Hemasaurus, a 2D arcade kaiju game in development by Lauren Lemke. I'll be spending up to half an hour in this demo, giving my first impressions along the way. I can already see what tone this game is going for. I can already see what tone this game is going for. I can already see what tone this game is going for. I can already see what tone this game is going for. I can already see what tone this game is going for. And this whole discussion is this whole discussion is reminiscent of the older kaiju films, because usually these kaijus are representations of cultists. Because usually these kaijus are representations of humanity's vices or mistakes. Because usually in those films, the kaijus are representations of humanity's vices or humanity's mistakes or vices. Of humanity's vices and of humanity's mistakes or vices. Of humanity's mistakes or vices. This is totally not out of place. Yes, please. Yes, please. According to the cultists, pretty much Pixel Boy. According to the cultists, pretty much Pixel Boy. According to the cultists, pretty much Pixel Boy. Can I walk the other way, please? No choice. We have no choice in the matter. That building doesn't look too stable. Just as I spawned in, it wiggled a bit. Just like Rampage. I'm not sure who is more evil. Honestly, the Shepherd is more evil than the Hemosaurus. Honestly, the Shepherd is more evil than the Hemosaur. Honestly, the Shepherd is more evil than the Hemosaurus. Honestly, the Shepherd is more evil than the Hemosaurus. The Hemosaurus is just an animal. This isn't self-defense. This isn't self-defense. Once this is all over, can we eat the Shepherd? Excuse me. Once this is all over, can we kill the Shepherd? Once this is all over, can we kill the Shepherd? Northport, Long Island. Stage 1. A demonstration of terror. Kill 50 humans. 50% destruction. Thank you. Here we go. And, hang on. Okay, this is annoying. The game now wants me to run at 16:9 resolution. I noticed earlier with the black bars. Let's try this again. Stage 1. A demonstration of terror. Kill 50 humans. 50% destruction. Bye. Good riddance. Time for the rampage. Time for the Rampage gameplay to truly begin. Unlike the original Rampage, however, the physics are a lot better this time. No time limit to worry about either. You're not the only one, Jaden. At least the shepherd's dead now. I guess it's also befitting of the older kaiju films, where the evil humans tend to be laughably evil. I suppose it's also befitting of the original kaiju. I guess it's also befitting of the classic kaiju films, where the human villains are laughably evil. Are laughably cartoonishly evil. So this is accurate in this. So it is accurate in that sense. So it is accurate in that sense. Tip it over. So it is accurate in that sense. Though it did make me uncomfortable. Though it did make me a bit uncomfortable, you're right. Or even the aliens, you're right. The kaijus are simply wild animals. And if this is even more accurate, and if this is supposed to be even more accurate, one of the main protagonists opposing us is going to be a child. And if this is going to be even more accurate to the, and if this is going to be even more accurate, one of the main antagonists opposing us is going to be a kid. One of the main antagonists opposing us is going to be a kid. One of the main antagonists opposing us is going to be a kid. Excellent. I mean, this is only the first stage, so it's mostly a massacre. This is only the first stage, so this is just a massacre. This is only the first stage, so of course, it's a massacre. Mission accomplished. Our mission of only $5 million worth of damage? That seems fairly cheap. Stage 2, structural failures, 65% destruction. How many shepherds do they even have? One sec. There's one thing I do need to fix. I don't think this is something. Oops, wrong way. I don't think this is something you could do in the original game. I don't think this is something you could do during Rampage. I don't think this is something you could do in the original Rampage. In that one, buildings just collapse straight downwards. In that one, buildings just collapse straight downwards. Down it goes. This never happened in the original. This sort of destruction never happened in the original. In that way, this is already an improvement. In that way, this is already an improvement. In that way, this is already an improvement. In that way, this game's already an improvement. How is this building still standing? There we go. Despite my Despite my earlier levels of uncomfortability, this is cathartic in a way. Despite my earlier levels of uncomfortability, this is cathartic in a way. This is cathartic in a way. Stage complete. Hang on, hang on. They can fly? Never mind, they were jumping. Bonus stage, race to 75% destruction. Oh, it's like destroying the car minigame. It's like the destroying the car minigame from Street Fighter. It's like the trashing the car minigame from Street Fighter. Stage 2, Bloody Red Asphalt, 15 cars, 50% destruction. Bye. Seriously, why do you keep getting new shepherds? Mind you, the cultists didn't summon in this... Mind you, the shepherds didn't cause the... Mind you, the shepherds didn't cause the Hemosaurus to spawn. Mind you, it's not the shepherds who caused the Hemosaurus to get unfrozen. Mind you, it's not the shepherd's fault that the Hemosaurus got unfrozen. Mind you, it's not the shepherd's fault that the Hemosaurus was unfrozen. They're right, cars cause a lot of damage when thrown into buildings. They're right, the cars cause massive damage. They're right, the cars cause massive property damage. It's not the shepherd's fault why the... It's not really the shepherd's fault why the Hemosaurus was unfrozen. The game already makes it apparent what Moral is going for. The game already makes it rather apparent what Moral is going for. The game already makes it very apparent what Moral it's going for. In a rather heavy-handed fashion. Just like many classic kaiju films, in fact. Just like many classic kaiju films, in fact. Although taken to an extreme here. Albeit taken to a far greater extreme here. Not saying it's a bad thing. Sometimes being avaricious is necessary. Not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes being avaricious is necessary. Indeed, so many explosions, Silent. Goodbye. Alrighty then, this is a good time to end off my Let's Try. Outside of some of the issues with the resolution at the start, see how the text in the top and bottom are cut off at this resolution. See how some of the text is cut off on the top and bottom with this resolution. This was a fun experience. But yeah, I understand why it's uncomfortable. This, I think it was deliberate, in fact, to make a point. Like, if the framing at the start didn't exist and it was really just like Rampage, we wouldn't feel as uncomfortable. But it's because of the framing at the start why it feels so poignant, I think. It feels biting in a way. But again, I kind of circle back to the point I keep making in the fact that it reminds me of the kaiju films of the 90s or 80s, where how avaricious they can be, just taken further. To me, it feels just like a logical extension. Oh, don't worry, if this is truly like a kaiju film, there'll be an axe monster somewhere. In any case, if you're watching this, Lauren, you did a fine job making a Rampage successor. Good job. Especially on the gameplay front with the new physics. In any case, thanks for watching, everyone. Sorry, this didn't really fit the bill for you, Jaden. Alright then. I'll see you all... Alright then, I'll see you all tonight for Wizard and the Slug. See ya.